Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Well, from the title, you can tell this is probably going to be a message to the government, okay? Telling the government they can take its so-called authority over us and shove it right up their ass, okay? Since the Constitution don't exist anymore, their authority don't exist anymore. But that's what we're going to have a discussion about tonight. So anyway, ought to be a good one. Sure, I'll have a few trolls in here and stuff. Shut me up, YouTube paid trolls. YouTube pays people to destroy their business. But don't worry, Jeffrey Bozo went to a really good business school, okay? Not sure which one it was. Maybe the business school retards, but when you pay people to wreck your business, what don't matter? Because the taxpayer just makes sure he gets enough through the government. Okay? So that's what this discussion is going to be on the night. Giving the old middle finger to the government of the government, okay? Anyway, everybody enjoy the little sideshow that we had yesterday with Putin and Trump. Trump's gonna sit there and bring Russia and Ukraine to the peace table and bring peace to that Ukraine-Russia war, so America wins. Not the American citizen, but the ridiculous government we have now and stuff like that. They're the ones that are going to win. The American citizen, heck, I don't think the checkbook's been closed up to Ukraine yet. I think we're still shoveling money in arms, aren't we? But don't worry. And then Trump flying that nuclear bomb. It's just over Putin and stuff. I mean, what's going on here is ridiculous, all right? Anyway, hey, what's up, boss? I am talking about tonight, since we're here, we got people here. I am talking about this to the federal government. Fuck you. Your so-called authority over me no longer exists. Okay? And I suggest every American citizen who believes in the Constitution and stuff, take that attitude. Let's have a peaceful protest. But I'm not taking this shit no more, okay? I'm not taking it no more. That big, beautiful bill that was passed with all this AI in it and stuff? And now this, I can't remember the name of the company that they're bringing their AI engine in. Computer algorithm, and they're just a massive computer engine in. I'm a goofy gooner. You watch the Goonies, did you? By the way, see, this is the thing, government, if you're watching. See, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to put a mask on and hide behind a name and all this other shit. I'm going to tell you what I think of you. You're fucking asshole idiots. You're actual fucking criminals. That all you want to do is see the end game in all this, people. The end game is complete control of us. Okay, they're in our bedrooms, they're in our schools, they're in our cars, they're in our tractors, they're in our semis. And now with digital currency, we want to put them in our wallet too. They're already in our wallet enough. But with digital currency, I'm just sick of it. I'm done. Okay, government, you have no authority over me. See, this is the thing. Does anybody say they follow the Constitution anymore? Does anybody think they follow the Constitution anymore? Hello from Brazil. Hey, how you doing there in Brazil? This is international broadcast, okay? And like I say, every country in the world has to deal with the United States, don't they? There's also some policy that country can have that our government doesn't like, and these people in these countries just got to deal with the United States. Anyway, my name is Priscilla. I'm using my brother's account. Okay. But, they want to make an account up about me. They don't need to. Okay, I'm a United States Marine who took an oath to the Constitution, and I feel to the American people, to maintain a freedom in this country and liberty and maintain our Constitution. And anybody who's against that, kiss my ass. And we got our politicians, like I say, the end game in this is to have absolute complete control over our lives. Remember, there's people in the government that think your children are state property. Oh, I guess that's why they feel the lists don't exist, because they're allowed to sit there and go in a van, throw their kids in a van and sell them into sex slavery, because kids are property of the state, right? Is anybody done with this? But I'm here tonight to tell the government, you kiss my ass. I'm going to make so little of money that I won't even exist on your records. I'm done. You no longer have authority over me. I no longer want to play the game of let's all be retards together and watch what happened yesterday and think it's all cool. Anyway, if you like the content, help support the channel, because you see I got a lot to say. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe button, and the bell notification, because I'm not afraid to get on here and say it. Okay, AJ99, glad to see you here. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to get on here and tell even Trump. If Trump was standing in front of me right now, I'd call him a fucking idiot liar. I'd say, hey, thanks, I voted for you. Now can you do anything about it? I don't have any respect or nothing. I don't trust anybody that sits there and says the lists don't exist to protect a bunch of criminals. Whether he's on it or not, I don't trust you. You obviously, see, this is the one thing. All over the world, none of your governments have your best interest in order. They don't care about them. Government has become a selfish little entity that all these bigwigs sit there and go to and destroy your life. I'm going to live free. I'm going to live off the system. I'm done with it. What is my destiny? I'll tell you what, I wasn't put on this earth to make sure that I can keep paying money to the government so we can sit there and have endless wars. Paying it to people that don't work, don't give a shit about American veterans or our own citizens. All they want to fight about is redistricting so they can get more of their party in. All I know is the Constitution, read it once. Our government does not follow it. Yeah, it goes a lot on how the government is supposed to be created and stuff. But do you realize that every once in a while, this is one thing I don't like about the Constitution. They said, I think it says every once, it didn't say specific times, but every once in a while, the government is supposed to come out with a list of all expenditures of public money. You know, money you pay in taxes. Boy, I wonder when the last time that happened. It was probably before the Federal Reserve was created. Probably back when Teddy Roosevelt was president. Do you think we'd be $38 trillion in debt, this country would be, if they had to do that, if they did that like they were supposed to? Yeah, thanks. I tell you what. These, trolls. This is the thing, right? This is what I know, government control. And that's also social media. You want to ban me? Go ahead. We got to cover up the truth. Can't let nobody be able to express themselves if they're against the narrative or if they see what's coming. So you got to shadow ban me. I got a message from YouTube. This channel's just starting out. I'm trying to get monetized. And like I say, when this channel does make money, just watch a commercial. Because this channel doesn't sell nothing. I'm not an infomercial. I don't take donations. Okay, watch a commercial when I become monetized. That's all you got to do. But YouTube sat there and told me that I had 2,000 plus viewed hours so far. And I need 4,000 to get monetized with commercials, 3,000 to get monetized if people want to, pay to watch me. I just have a problem with that, people. Like, I don't worship money, and I don't think me telling the truth on this channel should cost anybody money. Let the advertisers pay it. God damn it, give them enough in taxes. But anyway. YouTube comes and says I have over 2,000 watched hours. Okay? What do I got credit for? 1,300? What, 700-hour difference, right? They can't even get to analytics on each page right. Just like all the times, they don't do this no more, but they'd send me messages all the time. You got 5 new subscribers. You got 40 new subscribers, whatever. They stopped sending me that because when they'd send me that, my subscriber count would never go up. This is what I'm saying. Everybody needs a YouTube channel. This is not the time to be silent. If our government got 200 million videos from 200 million different people, Americans, that were pissed at it and said, end this shit. You know, the thing is, if the list comes out, we don't have to worry about D.C. That'll clean it out. We'll just, that's why we have elections. We can hold a special election and elect a bunch of whole new people and stuff. I mean, how many people in the power district in D.C. do you think aren't on the list? Or around the world aren't on the list? Or these Fortune 500 kind of CEOs and whatever, Hollywood. I mean, a man who has billions of dollars in cash at his residencies with no business to bring that type of money in. Cash. And the IRS ain't looking into where all that cash came from. What do they say when you want to solve the crime? Follow the money? Boy, it'd be nice to have some independent journalists again. This is a bigger story than Watergate buyout. Boom! And not one investigative reporter will do it. I thought all you guys were Democrats that hated Republicans. That's what made Democrats and Republicans all get along, because they're all wings of the same bird, people. Wings of the same bird. And they're just shitting all over us. This is one thing on this channel I'm trying to get through people's heads. Okay? We're all on a sinking ship together. All of us! All over the world now! I mean, Trump's at a summit with Putin to end the Ukraine war, Ukraine-Russia war, and Ukraine's not allowed. 1938 Munich, come to mind, anybody? Czechoslovakia problem, issue? Trump went to Russia to visit Putin. No, you guys have to go. Google it. Oh, Trump went to Russia. Yeah. That's the one thing about this meeting. How could it just have to happen now? And remember, Putin's got that arrest warrant over his head for crimes against humanity, remember, because of the Ukraine war? Anyway, all I know is if you support the Ukraine war, that's good. Go over there and fight the son of a bitch then. And make sure you take all your wealth and fortune and even your children with you and go fight that goddamn war. Because we don't need you here in this country when it's time to fight our war to get our Constitution back. Oh, and if you've never been in combat before, it's a real interesting experience. Anyway, but our government, you kiss my ass. I have no more time for the government. I mean, they're lost. I mean, criminals, thieves. Look, we had a congressman that was saying we can't put too much military equipment on Guam because it may capsize. I mean, you got an old Democrat man that doesn't understand that the land we all live on is tops of mountains, you dumbass. Did these people go to school? I mean, an island capsizing. He's probably got elected twice since then. That's a big joke. Hey, he's dumb as hell, but guess what? He does what he's told. Takes money from people that are working their asses off and tries to raise a family. It gives it to people that don't need it in countries that want to go to war and all this stuff. Just a great thing. Anyway, would you rather watch a tree grow? Get rid of that asshole. He had that on there before. See, this one say, you deal with intelligent people sitting in mommy's basement. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to go be an asshole. You know, it's like I say, I'm having a party at my house, right? And or a meeting at my house, and I got a bunch of people here that want to gather and listen to me. And then you have some asshole that walks in the door and tries to be a piece of shit and wonders why he gets thrown out by his belt by the people in the audience. There's a severe problem. How are we supposed to solve any of our country's problems when everybody can't get on the same page? When you got people that would want chaos. They want it. And then when it comes to their doorstep, they'll be like, God, I wish I never would have done that. Hate and discontent. Anyway, but trolls have their job too. You can't have good without evil. So the trolls have their job too. I just don't want to be when they got to pay their consequences when they go to the pearly gates. You know, but everybody's got to pay for their consequences. But yeah, you know, the government can stick its authority. Like I say, the Constitution no longer matters, right? So the Constitution is the document that the people came up with to create a government and give authority to that government. The Constitution's the key, people. And like I say, if the Constitution no longer has authority, no longer exists, it no longer protects us, you know, the contract we have with the government, then the government no longer exists, no longer legally exists, because they have no authority. Because that document giving them authority, they burnt that son of a bitch. Do you people realize that? We're just like Ukraine. You know, he canceled the election, still in power, right? Well, they canceled our Constitution, and they're still in power. Anybody watch my rant on defeatism? A lot of people, we can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing about it. Hello from Russia. Hey, how's it going? I tell you what. Hey, I feel for you, buddy. I hope you're not somewhere where you're getting bombed or your places are getting destroyed by United States weapons. If they are, I apologize from all the people of the United States who are against this shit. But don't worry, we'll have Russian bombs dropping on our soil soon. And then everybody like, oh, that's how war works. They hit us too. See, a lot of people in the United States don't realize that Russia can throw the same shit at us besides nuclear weapons than we can at them. A lot of Americans are naive and stupid because they never went more than 100 miles from their house, never suffered any. You know, our kids in the last 2 generations were never allowed to grow up with anything setting them off or any pressure on them. They had to sit there and be, And our military don't know what they got between their legs. I was in the Marine Corps. I'm not stupid the way militaries are. Okay? And sad to say, Russian men in the military know what they got between their legs. And plus, all the experience they're getting from this war. You know, Russia's just doing what they wanted to do in World War II. You know, drain the Allies, let them fight amongst each other. You know, but Russia is fighting it. But Russia, if they wanted to mow over Ukraine and take over Ukraine, it'd take them maybe a week. You people sit there and think, oh my God, they got 100,000 people on the border. Study World War II. You'll find 100,000 is a very freaking small number. When you get into the millions on each side in a single battle, then we're talking, hey, now they're really getting into it. This is just a playground scuffle that's going on right now. And look at all the stuff. Russia's going against NATO and all of NATO. And Putin was the strongest one at that summit, wasn't he? This is why Americans, we need to throw off this freaking government. The Declaration of Independence says it all. Every citizen in every other country probably knows the Declaration of Independence and is looking at us Americans say, what the hell's wrong with them people? They got the Declaration of Independence Act. They have the right, and being a Marine, the word duty bound by a founding father's orders is more duty bound than any order given by any politician that's alive these days to me. Okay? Duty. When I see the word, it's my duty to throw off such government, and I was a Marine and I took an oath to the Constitution, what do you think I'm supposed to do? What is this mouse saying? That's okay. Just go watch some of my other videos, sir. And if you want to come visit me, hey, I'll let you in, work your ass off for 12 hours, and see what kind of man you are. Like I say, this is the United States, none of us spoiled little bitch, but you know, when our dollar ain't worth nothing, we're going to, all the illegal immigration will stop and they'll all go back home. We won't have a problem with scammers because who's going to want the American dollar when nobody wants it? Scammers will go away. Welfare will go away. People will actually become responsible for themselves. Sometimes a country, just like a person, has to hit rock bottom before they turn around. Are we getting close to that rock bottom? Anybody? Orwell, 84. I know. Look, that movie when that guy has to sit there at the start of it, when he's sitting in his apartment, in that little, where he was sitting so nothing could see him. That was his only place he could have total privacy. I haven't watched that movie Idiocracy, and I am going to watch it. I have been told so much I need to watch it. I'm going to watch it. Maybe I can laugh about this shit, okay, a little bit. I need to know. Jack, are you a troll? This is a channel for adults to have a conversation about the bad things that are happening in the world. This is not a place for adult children to come to and create hate and discontent, okay? Because obviously what we have to say is well over your head. Now you can sit and listen. If you can carry on in the conversation like a normal adult, then we want to hear you. But like I say, when you realize, well, sorry, Jack, J99 just got rid of you. I hate censoring people. But sometimes they got to be shut up. Okay? He can sit here and listen. But we ain't going to solve none of our problems that way. These are people that think there isn't a problem. These are the people that think we need the government to make everything fair. Really? You know what? We're all fair. We all got freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you choose to take all that and flush it down the toilet, you don't need the government to take from me and give to you to make it fair. Because that just means that if we need the government to make things fair, we're not equal, people. We're not equal. Anyway, if you'd hit the thumbs up and the subscribe and the bell notification, I'd appreciate help this channel grow, because you can see I got a lot to say. I'm standing up for all Americans, even trolls, okay? Because when the Amtrak comes down the street, I don't care what your beliefs are, if you're beside me or behind me. I don't care. See, because that's not a big issue anymore. This is one thing when the United States really starts feeling the pain of all the bullshit they're causing everywhere. The government's, there's one thing about you people in the world, our government's just as hard on us. Me being a single, heterosexual, Christian, white guy who clings to his guns and Bibles, the deplorable that Hillary Clinton talks about, the patriot that formed this country, that mindset, we're the worst thing this country ever had now. We're terrorists. And since I was a Marine and I'm on YouTube like this, well, I'm on a list. Yay! That's why we got that new AI thing. So everybody can be on a list, but I want to make sure the government has plenty of evidence on me when they decide to sit there and basically call the mindset and the patriot mentality, the thing that formed this country, as total terrorists, a terrorist organization. JJ, I believe you. Let's go. But like I say, we don't have a leader yet. Why was the revolution different? Because back then, the rich people were being affected more than the poor people because the poor people really didn't have money. Rich people were the one that were paying most of the taxes and stuff. They were the one consuming. Okay? Because it was a tax, not an income tax, but a tax on purchasing stuff. And if you don't got a lot of money and you don't spend a lot of money, you don't pay a lot of tax. But if you spend a lot of money and have a lot of money, you know, you can be a millionaire and only spend $1,000 a month and you ain't gonna pay shit in taxes. But you can be a millionaire with this new tax thing and can pay for it. Wouldn't it be nice to get your own paycheck? Like I say, 10% flat federal sales tax will take care of the whole problem. Oh, and then we got to require our government to live in its bounds, and then get rid of the Health and Human Services Department, and and we could downsize our government to the way it was in the Constitution. Department of War, Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, and the Attorney General. Cut it down to 4 cabinet positions. Let's see. That's downsizing the government by a hell of a lot, isn't it? And then we could, with all that money we're saving because we downsized our government, use that to pay off the debt. Do you know what kind of country this would be if we were debt-free? You know how much that dollar in your wallet would be worth? You know how much it could buy if we were debt-free? It's amazing the difference we would have. You wouldn't be a financial slave. Wow, what a concept. If our government sat there and had to balance its budget like the housewife has to do every month with their budget. She's not allowed to sit there and, we need $3,000 to live this month, but we're only going to get $2,000. A lot of people are just charging on their credit cards, but you're not allowed to go in your basement and just start printing money. That's called counterfeiting. And when the government does it, it's called counterfeiting too, okay? When the government prints money out of nothing, it's also called counterfeiting. And that's another thing the American people don't care about. See, this is a couple things the government absolutely has to do. Federal government has to do. Secure our borders. Ensure the security of our money supply. Let's see, the dollar's lost 99% of its value since the Federal Reserve went in action. I think we lost there too, huh? And then protect our pursuit of happiness and protect our God-given rights. Anybody feel like that's happening? Does anybody listening to me happy that all this money is being spent on Ukraine? Not just the war, but to fund their politicians' retirements, to make sure that their streets are basically paved with gold and then bombed the next day. America's falling apart, people. We're building up Ukraine's infrastructure. What about ours? What about ours? We've become a consumer society. Went from a manufacturing, industrial-based system to a consumer-based service. This is why they want illegals here. And if I got illegals listening to me, you are being exploited by the rich, stupid asses in this country. You're being exploited. You're being taken advantage of for your vote and for your cheap labor. Maybe you should do something about that. But you want to look at me like I'm the problem. I'm not exploiting you. Hell, you're taking jobs from me. So I had to start up my tree business again. Because I guess I'm not allowed to work in agriculture no more because I'm the only one that wants to pick a tomato or, ride a horse and move cows. So I guess I'm not allowed to have a job because I'm an American that wants to work in agriculture. Right, Mr. Trump? We need these people here. We're going to give them amnesty. They did that, in 87? Amnesty? Got Reagan to do it? Just one time, sir. That's all we need. Well, the Democrats didn't get enough voters in that time. So now we need to do it again. Ugly white man, bad. Hey, ugh, white man. White man, bad. Hey, I tell you what, human beings don't have, see this thing, race. Show me which race is perfect. Show me which race doesn't, or religion, or nationality. People are perfect, no crime, they all love each other. Where was that again? Oh, that was nowhere. Because human beings, no matter what color they are, what nationality they are, they're all the fucking same. How rich they are, what they want to do in their bedroom, they're all the fucking same. But you know what? I got a politician telling me that everybody's different. And you need to hate your neighbor. Like you say, government, so you can have this as evidence. Fuck you. You no longer have authority over me. No longer. Okay? I will not be arrested. I haven't done anything wrong. So if they come to arrest me, it's obviously because of what I say on YouTube, and I'll go disappear in a prison somewhere in another country, or like you liberals were saying, I'll be dropped out of a plane way up in the air over the Atlantic Ocean. Remember that shit? They won't do that to an illegal. They fly them into this country. But they would do that to me as an American citizen in a second. Because you know what? This cog can be taken out of the machine if they want to and replaced with another cog that isn't even an American. Isn't that great? I just look at Americans sometimes and they're just, I don't get it. Why would you be willing to give up freedom for any condition? Would you rather have a comfortable life? And when I mean comfortable, meaning you had your basics always taken care of, and be a slave, or have to be required to make sure you had your basics yourself and live free? See, in a free society, not everybody succeeds, but everybody can try. Okay? In the society they want to create, anybody can, well, trying will probably be against the law, but nobody will ever succeed. Ever. Anyway, hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Help me get the word out. I'm doing everything I can. Like I say, I see all this shit going on. Friday, Alaska. Ooh! I'm not, like I say, I'm not letting these beta males in charge of me no more. I will not let no beta male who's a criminal steals money from me. Like I say, would you let your neighbor come into your house and do what the government does to you? No, you kick his ass and throw him out. But it's amazing. Americans don't have a problem with the government doing it. Would you give your phone to somebody you didn't know and say, here's the code, get into my phone, check everything? No, you never would do that. But the government, everybody just feels the government is made of people that take that information and use it against you. That's why I'm making this video. Because I'm going to stand proud. I'm an American. The United States government's crook, thief. Because the Constitution don't exist, you no longer have authority over Americans no more, especially American Marines that understand the Constitution and civics and all that type of stuff. And if you want to tear up the Constitution or burn it, that's okay. I have my copy, so I'm still have my oath to the Constitution, and your authority don't exist. It's as simple as that. If the Constitution doesn't exist and they don't have to follow it, their authority, they no longer have authority over us, and we don't have to listen to them. I wish we could get where nobody paid taxes. Oh, that's right. That's right. If we had that choice, I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't be paying taxes right now. But we lose them before we get the money, don't we? Boy, what a great setup the government has to just screw us over. Anyway, like I would love everybody on there, please start a YouTube channel. I see a mega guy in here. Good. I'm glad you're for Trump. I hope you don't ever have any children that need to be protected. Don't let them out at night. They may get thrown in a van because that list don't exist. And that's not going on no more. Like I said, I like one reporter. That's Trump. So you say the list doesn't exist. Does that mean that you do not believe that there's an international conspiracy sex trafficking ring of children to powerful and elites in this world? A worldwide sex trafficking ring for children to the elites and the powerful. You tell me that don't exist. And then I go and they all say Epstein Island exists, right? Nobody ever denied that Epstein Island doesn't exist. And every landmass on the world is governed by some country. Every landmass is governed under some country's government. What country governs Epstein Island? I'm just curious. And Trump will say, hey, I've never been to Epstein Island. Nope. So you're saying you know there's children there. Why don't you send the Marines in? You'll send the National Guard into D.C., right, to stop the petty criminals so the swamp can get away with its shit? Why don't you send the Marines in Epstein Island? Take care of that mess. Wouldn't that be nice? This is what I'm saying. No longer do I recognize the authority of the United States government. I recognize the authority of the United States Constitution. But we don't have a government that recognizes the Constitution. Okay? Like I say, hey, how about we get a public notification on where they got to inform the public on how all public funds were spent over the last 100 years. I think we'd probably find out that we're more than $38 trillion in debt. But see, Americans, nope. Hey, Trump's making my bank account look good. The number's going higher, but it's not worth it anymore. But hey, I feel I'm doing better. I don't really care about the children. You know, why? Why? That's just going to be something that gets in the way. How are you going to have prosperity when you got criminals and evil in charge of the future? You think you're a good, law-abiding, outstanding citizen, and you're going to let criminals be in charge of you and think you're going to succeed? I know I look at life differently. But people need to wake up. The government does not have your best interests in mind. At all. They start World War III, they're going to run off to their bunkers and leave you to the wolves. They don't care. They will take you the fuck out with this AI, drones and everything. And then what, 5 years the drones will be armed to help the police, right? I mean, they have robots or whatever that go into homes to save the police, right? And the Americans are slowly, the cage is going to become closer until, boom, the trap is set. And everybody in America realize they have just been thrown in a cage. And the only way out of that cage is DEATH. That's how you get out. God, what other system had that? This is why they stopped teaching history, because it repeats itself. You know, if World War II and the real Nazi atrocities and all that stuff was still fresh in our younger generation's mind, I mean, they don't even know who we won our independence from. Maybe they'd know the evils. If they understood communism, maybe they would know the evils of communism. Especially me growing up during the Cold War, knowing the Berlin Wall, and watching movies about people trying to escape coming across the Berlin Wall or the Russian communist stuff. You know, we all saw it. Like I say, if communists is so great, how come everybody was trying to escape it? Okay? After World War II, the German POWs that Russia finally released, okay, if they could put anything where their home of residence where it was in the West, they did it. Because Russia had to release them and bring them to the West. Okay? They got to the West. because they had sat. I mean, I listened. See why I know this? Because I listened to a lot of diaries from World War II. A lot of Germans, okay? And I dealt with this general staff officer that, anyway, he was in Soviet captivity for up to 3 years after the war and stuff. And he was talked about how it was so hard to understand it. And when they would find out they were getting released, he put a town in the West where he went, but his wife and kid was still in the communists. And it's an interesting story. I mean, I listened to the diaries. This one was cool. Anybody know about the longest escaped POW in the United States? Anybody ever hear that story? He escaped from a prison in Arizona, I think it was, a POW camp in 1945. And hopped the train, he got out and stuff, hopped the train, and he didn't sit there. And he had to. It's an interesting story, but he did turn himself in. He was married, and they're trying. His wife wanted to start for Social Security. You know, he's a POW. Anyway, interesting life. And she's like, why? And he had to come out because she was going to leave him, and he had to sit there and come out. You know, tell him that he was an escaped POW. He was in the Africa Corps and stuff, and you know, they went to the FBI anyway. Great story. But, you know, that man was in fear for 41 years. When, you know, he gave himself up, he was a hero. What about the Japanese soldiers that didn't give up when Japan surrendered? They didn't believe it. And that one was in the jungle to 72 or 74, the longest one? Crazy time. Anyway, no, that was Japanese. You could surround them. They didn't surrender. Marines found that out. Hey, J99, I see you're busy tonight. Take off your glasses. They're reading glasses, sir. Because if I didn't have on, I couldn't read your retarded comment. But hey, I appreciate the comment. Okay. But, you're calling me Mr. Epstein, huh? What do you do with trolls? This is what you do with trolls. Okay? I mean, can you imagine being so sick in this world? This is what pharmaceuticals, a lot of it is their fault. I mean, putting kids on mind-altering drugs when their minds are developing, when they're 5 and 6, because they're acting up? What do you think a 5 and 6-year-old does? What do you think you did at 5 and 6? That's why you're getting all this mental illness in this country. Absolute people that, I always say the human, that are insane, okay? Because I say the Homo sapien is splitting into 2 species, okay? It's got to be. Ones that are completely brain dead and ones that aren't. The ones of us that know we're still connected to nature, but it's amazing the ones that are brain dead can't survive without us, right? Remember USEP? 300 million people all over the world have died because the USEP money was canceled. So it's the American taxpayers now to support everybody on the planet, huh? Boy, but it's amazing. The Democrats can't hold protests anymore because they don't have money to pay protesters. Wonder where that money was coming from. NGOs, huh? This is the world we live in. And this is why I'm telling you, I'm not stupid. And I'm not going to play the fool. And I know my destiny wasn't put on this earth to serve a bunch of criminals. And, you know, to me, money's not important. My time is important. And time is something you can't give back to a man. You break something of his, you can replace it. Okay? But time is something you can't replace. And I'm not going to waste any of my time anymore dealing with this frickin' ass government. I don't even speed. I wish everybody, you know, that's one thing. Oh, I'm for the law, right? Do you speed? Well, yeah, that law don't really matter. Really? This is how I told my kids one day. I said, if you had $1 million on a table in front of you, and you just took $1, right? Oh, nobody's going to know. You're still a thief. You take $1, you must take the whole million, because judgment day, it isn't going to matter. God's not going to look at the amount and say, oh my God, that's a worse crime than ever. Anyway, that's the way to put it. If you're willing to steal $1 from me, you're willing to steal all my money from me because you don't care. That's what our politicians do. The people that are clinging to their guns and Bibles, right? We need to stop clinging to them and start. Like I said, when the Second Amendment was written, it wasn't about home invasions. It wasn't about hunting. It wasn't about none of that shit. Now that's benefits of the Second Amendment, but the Second Amendment was to throw off a bad government, a tyrant. Because when Thomas Jefferson was talking about watering the tree of liberty with the blood of tyrants and patriots every 20 years, I don't think he was talking about home invasions. Anybody want to debate me on that? You don't speak for God. I know, I work for him. Nobody speaks for God. I just work for him. And if you got a problem with that, be careful when you walk about, because he gets a little vengeful. Okay, this is what I'm saying, I'm glad that another human being feels that they're closer to God than I am. I don't. We're all close to God. God looks at us, all of our children. We just have a different purpose. He loves us all the same. But hey, if you're out there and you feel God loves you more, probably not because you love yourself, probably even more than he loves you. J99, boy, you're busy tonight. Hey, she's in the Army. She knows how to use a gun in that blue wretch. Anyway. That's cheered me up, man. I tell you what, after losing Columbus, that sucked. Get one car that drives by here maybe once every 2 days. Yeah, just a bad time. But anyway, but all these people that need the government to make things fair, guess what? You ain't getting shit from me no more. I'm not going to make enough money to be even a speck on the map. Okay? Sorry. But then again, even though as much as I paid into Social Security, you think I'm going to file for it? Fuck that. Do you think I want the American taxpayer paying for me when I'm retired? And then they take taxes out of your Social Security. I think when you turn 65, you should have a choice. I'll take Social Security pay, just like the lottery, right? I'll take Social Security payments till the day I die, or I want a lump sum right now. Wouldn't that be cool? I want a lump sum right now. Sorry, sir. We gave all your money to your neighbor who's been sitting on their ass. Yeah, they've been making more than you a year or two, but we've been giving it to them, and we don't have none left. I would love to see it. No, I'm not on TikTok. I'm only on YouTube. I used to be on Rumble and X, and on X, Elon Musk even used to watch my posts, my shorts, and comments sometimes. But anyway, I'm only on YouTube. I don't want to be in an echo chamber. Okay, Elon Musk, his bias that there runs his social media platform. I'm on here so people that disagree with me can see me, so I can get the message across. Because usually when I talk and you only watch me even for 10 seconds, you'll remember everything I said. Should have been a teacher. I could even have pounded the stuff into the dumbest kid's head and made him smart. That's one thing in the service. They teach you how to learn, which makes your IQ ability limitless. Your IQ is limited to how much knowledge you're introduced to. And this is one thing about when they silence people, you're just limiting your knowledge. And, there's, like in counterintelligence, you want to know what the enemy's doing. Okay, that's knowledge. Whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. So everybody, learn. Anyway, I love learning anyway. More input, like number 5 is live. Remember Short Circuit? Need input. Why? Recommended a book, bro. Why can't you name one? Recommended a book. I don't know what you're talking about. If you want to come in here and bash me, I don't care. But why don't you start up your own channel? If you don't like this channel, start up your own. Like I say, I believe everybody should have their own channel. I'd watch it. I wouldn't even comment like that on it. I would just watch it. I'm type of a person, if you're going to say something bad, don't say nothing at all. But if I get riled and you want me to say bad shit, well, like you say, want to deal with the Marine with an attitude? Go ahead. You want to play with the tiger? I ain't got the key to the cage. You got the key to the cage. Okay? Anyway, but this is what happens when you got Call of Duty warriors. And that's the big thing, is this Call of Duty shit. Glorifying war. I mean, you see guys playing it, right? And the only thing they're exercising are their fingers. Why do you think everybody in my unit, including me, look like a football player? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because war is a physically demanding sport. Oh! And if anybody saw somebody play Call of Duty, they don't know shit about tactics. But anyway, that's the class that, they've never been told they were wrong. They've been told they were great. They are perfect in everything. They know everything. Hey, Amanda, how you doing? Nice to see you tonight. J99's been busy, so you might want to give her some help. I'm upsetting some trolls. But, whatever. You mean, imagine me not upsetting somebody. See, I don't care. I mean, my whole life, even now, when somebody wants to upset me, do you think they care about my feelings? No. They're just honest with me. Back when we were growing up, we were taught you're in charge of your emotions. It's not somebody else's fault. You're in charge of your emotions. Hell, these people ain't in charge of their own lives anymore. We need the government to come in and give us everything. Take money from that guy. He's got a nicer car than me. I deserve handouts and entitlements. That used to be a stigma. But then again, you maybe had, one family out of 1,000 that was on welfare or some type of government assistance. And now we got one family for every 10 because they feel it's entitlement. And then you got families that don't need it with the government sitting there saying, hey, we got this program where we can give you some money. Farmers. Perfect example. With the farm bill all the time. And farmers want the government in your tractor so you can get that check from them every year for not doing nothing? Fine. You're willing to give up your freedom to run your farm the way you want for that? Fine. And then when they decide to make things tough, and, we just went through a squeeze, and the big conglomerates started buying more land and stuff, and now they're kind of letting up, and in a couple of years they're going to do the squeeze again, until we got 3 or 4 companies that are in charge of all the land food production in this country. I've been in agriculture a long time. They've been doing this. The first time I remember it, was the 1980s. When interest rates were, after Carter destroyed the country. Shortly after that, and Reagan took off, a lot of farmers hit it hard. Okay, they had land based at $2,000 an acre. And then land dropped down to $850 or $800 an acre, and everybody borrowed money against $2,000 an acre. That one year, the bank was farming more ground than the farmers. But don't worry, we need the Department of Agriculture, because they love getting that check for doing nothing. You know, they always need a new pickup. Anyway, but history repeats. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is the thing, people. Human beings through the millennial have never changed. Their personalities, their feelings, and everything are all the same. The only thing that's changed is technology. And the more technology we have, the more we can just destroy each other easier. And now they got technology where they can sit there and tell everything I'm doing, whenever I'm doing it. And then we're going to get AI involved, so AI can control all that shit. And digital currency, so the U.S. government becomes a primary signature on your bank account, and you become the secondary signature, and all your purchases have to be approved through the government. Oh, don't worry. In the cities that the military is coming to, enjoy, especially you mega Republicans. See, I'm a constitutional conservative, so I don't like any goddamn party. I like parties that follow the Constitution. We don't have one of them. Anyway. Okay, hi. I'm me, hi. Appreciate everybody being here. Hey, if you want to support the channel, please hit the thumbs up and the subscribe and the bell notification. This is not infomercial. I don't take donations or take super chats. I'm trying to get the word out, the truth out, to get us organized. Just do my little part of being the tip of the spear. Because you know what, government? I don't give a fuck. We can send the FBI here to sit there and shoot me down in the morning because I'm a patriot. You know, that's what I'm saying. One day the Patriots will be considered a terrorist organization. Because we are to this government. Not to the Constitution, but to this government. We are a threat to the government because we want to reinstate the Constitution and take the power and give the power back to the people and handcuff the government. And then make sure the guilty are tried and paid. And I don't mean with death, like I say. Build a prison camp around the mountain and give them all tack hammers. And for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, they take that tack hammer and pound it into sand. Give them a best medical, nice cushy rack to sleep on, best food, but keep the fuckers alive. Work the shit out of them. Hell, Nancy Pelosi's husband, he likes doing 2 a.m. painting parties in his underwear, right? Can you imagine if we even found out the truth about that night? It would be sicker than most people would want to hear. And this is the thing, like I say. Now we live in a time, first in 2008, it was too big to fail. Okay, remember that? Well, I'm sure the founding fathers thought that was a great philosophy. And now we got too big to fail and too big to jail. Because if we jail them and the crimes come out, it'll just destroy the country. Wouldn't that be nice? You were so evil and such a criminal that we can't even tell you about it. I mean, that's worse than Charles Manson, people. That's worse than Jeffrey Dahmer. When you can't sit there and tell the truth, it'll bring the country down because it's worse than Jeffrey Dahmer. And Mega's fine with it because now they got their guy and they're spending money like crazy, just like they wanted to. Wings of the same bird, people. And some, it's just the liberal Democrats, the 25% liberal Democrats on the left can't see it. The 25% mega Republicans on the right can't see it. And the 50% of us in the middle can see it. So we're the majority. Why don't we fucking do something about it? Why? I mean, how much more bullshit do you have to take? How much more control over your life do you think they need? I mean, we're not even allowed to buy incandescent light bulbs anymore in this country. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. In this country, you cannot buy, they don't even manufacture them no more. It's all that mercury-filled fucking retarded shit. And they're supposed to last longer? They don't last longer. Well, guys, now we got LED bulbs. Yep, pretty nice when the government says, nope, hey, it's not dangerous, it causes no harm. I realize they're cheap as shit, but no way. You're not getting them no more. You got to buy this expensive stuff. Because it saves energy, right? If it saves energy, how come everybody's electric bills are going up? I tell you what, I wish I could do stand-up comedy. I could sit there, because I wouldn't be politically correct. I could sit there and, I mean, I can't do it in a funny way. I can sit there and make it short, but I'm more serious. I don't know how to do comedy. But like I say, I would love, if a comedian went out there and decided not to be politically correct anymore, he'd be a really rich, comedian. Just like the liberals making sure that Sydney Sweeney is going to be a very successful woman. Right? Ooh, I've been going an hour already. This is crazy. Well, it doesn't take long for me to sit there and eat up an hour on YouTube. I sure appreciate everybody being here. We need to come together, people. If you guys can't see the Dog and Pony Show, you can't see that each side is playing us, the 50% in the middle, against each other. If you can't see that, go somewhere where that's uncomfortable to you. That you've never been there, like me, out here in the sticks, okay? It's easy for me to see the forest through the trees because I'm sitting there looking at the forest on YouTube and stuff. These big cities, you got a serious problem with people that are mentally ill. Flat out. Where I'm from, you would get immediate help, okay? You're a guy who wants to dress up as a woman, transgender, you're probably going to get immediate help, psychiatric help. I don't know, we're just normal people here. We're Democrats and Republicans, and we all just live together. Because we don't want we're all kind of happy, and we don't let friction come into our small counties, counties with less than 2,000 people in it, for some people to sit there and come and create havoc. Not saying everybody gets along, but, we're not going to allow bullshit into our county. The way it used to be. I know a lot of you younger people don't remember, but we used to be able to have a presidential election, that there wasn't protests afterwards, and if you voted for the other side, you all talked and got along, and it was crazy. It was nuts. Bring back sanitary, something. Like I say, if you're in a big city, right, and you're walking down the street, how do you know some crazy moron doesn't have a syringe hidden that just run up to you and shoot you full of fentanyl or something, or drain cleaner or whatever? Crazies. We see videos of it all the time. These people, I wouldn't feel comfortable around them. Like I say, if I had to walk through a big city, I'd have eyes on the side of my head, the back of my head, be always woo, nonstop. I ain't gonna worry about the guy who has a gun, because he's gonna go rob a store. You ever really hear of muggings anymore? I mean, why don't you hear muggings? They just don't hear about them anymore. We need to fund mental health care, and we don't. Yeah. And then they want to solve a problem. And they put a Band-Aid. Okay, we need sanity back in this world. And like I say, I think a lot of it has to do with The pharmaceuticals, giving kids mind-altering drugs as their minds are developing, all this stuff. If you ever listen, I listen to old-time radio shows, right? Especially on Gunsmoke, the old-time radio show. They'll have the commercials that they played when they played the radio shows from back in the 50s. You would not believe how they advertise cigarettes. You would not believe it. Get new 2 cartons in the new Christmas packaging. Yeah. You know, in the Breakfast Club, when he was saying he got a carton of cigarettes for Christmas, yeah, they used to advertise that. Anyway, what happened to the tobacco industry? They got sued, right? Well, the same thing's going to happen to the company that feels everybody needs to be taking a pill once daily. Okay? Because in the 90s, when I still did go to the doctor, I haven't been to the doctor well over 20 years, but I don't need to either. But anyway, the doctor was telling me, he goes, I'm sick of it. This was back in the early 90s, on how these pharmaceutical companies reps would come into the doc's office and push this medication that they wanted to give the patients. And these older doctors just had enough because they were old-time doctors. They knew a lot of times the ailment wasn't fixed by a pill. It was just talk about living your life better. And then what if you did get a pill, antibiotic or whatever, you took it for a week or 10 days with no refill, and you never had to take a pill again. What happened to them days? It's once daily. And then people that take 10, 15 pills a day, and some of them that take them twice a day. And then you're taking pills to counteract one pill. God, what's that got to do to a stomach? How do people afford this? When did human beings become such a weak animal? Who was the healthiest race in North America? The healthiest people? Oh, that would have been the Native Americans. They didn't even have doctors or pharmaceutical companies now, did they? Strangeness. That's why I say start going to the gym. A gym membership is a lot cheaper than a pharmacy visit. And with all the time you spend at the doctor's office or the hospital a month, you put that many hours in at the gym, you'll start feeling a lot better. I'm not saying you need to go hit it like Rambo right away. Start out slow, but always build up. Always make a goal to be better to build up. Okay? Anyway. Boy. Hey, I need to get out of here. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. I appreciate everybody being here, though. Like I say last time, want to support the channel, hit that thumbs up, the subscribe and the bell notification, because we really have a lot of problems to fix, okay? A lot of problems to fix. And like I say, a lot of other countries got to sit there and deal with the mistakes that America makes, especially financially with their money. Secure the money supply. Our government's definitely failed at that, protecting the borders. But they haven't failed at sitting there seeming to get more control over us and get more people dumbed down to where they don't understand shit anymore. Anyway, the chickens are going to come home to roost, everybody. And, the people in charge, like I say, leaders of countries bring days of infamy. The people of the country, the citizens of that country, are the ones that got to deal with that day and the repercussions of that day. So anyway, and that's how I'm going to end this live stream. Everybody have a great night. Thank you to my moderators. I appreciate you all being here. And you had a rough couple days. Like I commented to you, J99, living's as hard as dying as it is. Living and dying is about the same these days. I want to live. And what I mean by live, I mean live free. I will not be a slave. Hear that, government? Anyway, yes, you got a rebel with a cause, a Marine with a mission. And never get in between a Marine and his mission. You won't like it. Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. And this is Tom with Hidden Truths. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Even you trolls, have a good night. This is Tom. I'm out of here.